to 2-Minute Drills. I'm Aram Tolegian, joined by Fred Robledo. Freddie, we have some big games in the Tribune area,
Yes, we do.
more than we can really handle with this 1 2-minute drill, so we're going to talk about two of them. I said Tribune area, but actually one of these is taking place in the LA Daily News area in the San Fernando Valley. Bishop Amat 3-3 overall, 1-1 in the Mission League, traveling to Alemany, 5-0 overall.
Bishop Alemany. Bishop Alemany.
Bishop
I got
Alemany,
reminded
right.
this week that I'm an idiot for not saying Bishop Alemany.
Right.
Whatever.
Okay, fair enough. And they are 1-0 in league. And then in a second, we're going to talk about Glendora and Bonita starting off the Palomares League, pair of 4-1 teams. But we'll jump back to Bishop Amat and Alemany. Last week, we talked about this quite a bit. Bishop Amat got back on track, kept its playoff hopes alive, kept its league title hopes alive in the Rugged Mission League by beating Sarah. But now they go on the road, and every week it seems like is a heavyweight fight in this league, and they're playing. You were talking about earlier, maybe SoCal's best team.
Yeah, when you say heavyweight,
you
say heavyweight fighting league. This is the heavyweight champion. I mean, Alemany, if you look at them, they're ranked. These are Max Prep's ranking. Max Prep's, which has become really the home of high school football in all of the country, has Alemany ranked 14th in the country, 6th in California. They're pretty high rankings. They're 4th in the CIF Southern Section rankings. So this is as tough as it gets if you're Bishop Amat in the league. I mean, this is where you really find out where you are. You want to end Aram's argument that you deserve to be in the Pac-5. This is how you do it with a victory at Alemany, Aram. But it's something that they've never been able to do since 2009. In all their meetings with Alemany, they haven't beat them. There's been a lot of competitive games. 2009, they had them on the ropes. They were both 9-0. Alemany at the end of the half, 2 quick touchdowns in 15 seconds. They won that game in last year. I think you were at that game versus Alemany last year. Was it you?
I know I was. If it was at
anyway,
Amat,
that was
I think
another
I
game
was.
where Amat had them on the ropes, and
Yeah.
Alemany came back in the last quarter and won it. So although they've been close, I don't know if there's mental ownership when it comes to Alemany and Bishop Amat, but they've had Bishop Amat's number. That's the one team in this league that Amat, Steve Haggerty, none of these guys have been able to solve, and they're going to go again this week.
Just to jump back to defeat my argument of needing relief and divisional relief. Beating an Alemany would be a nice start, but really, like I've said before, I'm looking at season as a whole for the most part, playoff wins, making the playoffs, and obviously this would go a long way toward reaching part of that goal.
Did you know that Bishop Amat was ranked 17th in the state by Max Preps?
No,
They're the highest ranked 3-loss team. And if you look at Southern Section rankings, Bishop Amat is ranked 13th. So if you were starting an open division today using Max Preps' numbers, they'd be a top 16 team.
Yeah, and I saw that they weren't even ranked in the Pac-5's top 10 for this week.
I said I was going top 16 because
and they're not.
That's what you invite to bowl games with top 16 teams.
And they're not ranked in Eric Sondheimer's top 25 in SoCal, which is interesting. But Sarah still is. Team that Bishop Amat beat is ranked 10, 11, or 12 or something like that.
That's because you look at overall records, I think.
Overall records and overall bodies of work. Everyone makes these rankings, Fred. It's their own, little formula on what they overweight.
In the top schools conversation.
Okay, well.
Whatever.
We'll see
but
what
this is
happens
a huge
after
game.
this week.
I mean, but it's this Amat. They've been going up and down all year. I mean, they lose that first game, they come out and they blow out Toledo, and we're all like, oh, okay, this is the team we expected. Then they go ahead and they blow out Rancho Cucamonga, lose to Chino Hills, lose the game you think they're going to beat Crespi, and then they beat Sarah in a game that was really more lopsided than the scores. So what's going to happen on Friday?
Well, here's the thing. I think there's a common denominator as far as teams that give Amat trouble in the recent past, and even somewhat this year. Teams that can spread it out and pass, that have athletes on the outside, give Amat trouble. Pass rush can't get there. The QB, has time. I'm talking about the opponent's QB, and eventually those, stud receivers, no matter how good guys like Trey Sidney are in the secondary, some or one of them break free, and it's big play time. Alemany's very good at spreading it around, Fred. This is one of the better, actually, passing teams around. That formula gives Amat so much trouble, and until they prove they can stop, this kind of elite pass attack, it's hard for me to pick them in this spot, so I'm picking Alemany to win this game.
The win over Sarah last week was nice. Sarah's no Alemany, not that by any stretch.
Not at quarterback.
I think overall as a whole, and I think you look at Alemany, they played Chaminade already, a team from that division last year that's moved up.
Yeah.
And they blew out Chaminade, Alemany did.
Yeah.
So I think, this is Amat's toughest game of the season.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any question, and we're going to find out. I mean, I'm picking them to lose this game. I wrote on my blog that I think they're going to win the last 3 games, finish 4-2, and get in the playoffs, because I think if you look at the schedule now, we're 6 weeks into the season, I think Amat's toughest games in the league are the first 4 that they're going to play. And that's obviously Crespi, Sarah, and they're going to play Alemany this week, followed by Chaminade next week.
Yeah.
I think they finish after Chaminade with Loyola and Notre Dame teams that I think
that's
that
all
they
that's
can beat.
left.
So I think if they beat Chaminade next week, I think they close those last 2. So this is the interesting game. If they want any part of winning the league championship, they've got to win on Friday. I just don't think that they're going to do it yet. They haven't been able to do it in all these years. I think Alemany's just, at the end of the day, they're a better football team, and at home, they're going to win.
I'm not sure they're better, that much better top to bottom, but scheme-wise, with the passing attack and Amat having trouble stopping these types of teams, that's, I think, the difference in this game. Alemany outscores them. Okay, so we'll move on. We both picked Bishop Alemany over Bishop Amat. Now we'll move on to the Palomares League opener. We don't have any league results in this one yet, but what we do have is a very, very good group of, at least 5 teams here in the Palomares League. I think I wrote an article. I think it's 5 teams are 4-1.
You wrote that article earlier this week talking about the start of the Palomares, and then
5 teams are 4-1 in this league.
Yeah, 5 teams are 4-1.
Yeah, and then South Hills is 1-3
South Hills
or
is the team
1-4.
way down there.
Right, but this is the I don't know. If you're looking, obviously when Ayala gets in the mix against Glendora, that might be for a league title. But this is a heck of a way to start, considering what Bonita did to San Dimas last week.
Yeah. Well, I was, after you wrote that article, I went on my blog and I kind of did my predictions in the Palomares, how it's going to finish 1 through 6. I think 5 and 6, Walnut, South Hills, you can kind of eliminate them from the discussion.
Walnut's not in this league. Claremont, maybe? You're thinking of?
Okay, I'm sorry, I was thinking of the other. It's just South Hills.
Yeah, South Hills is the only team with the losing record.
All of the other teams, you can make an argument that maybe they can make a run. I mean, Claremont has had a really good run league. Bonita obviously has come back. Ayala's look really good. Diamond Ranch, when you look now, they're only
Diamond Bar.
Diamond
they're
Bar,
3-2.
they're another one. I think you can make sort of a little argument for all of them. But I do think this game, I think Glendora, in my eyes, has proved that they're the best team. I think Bonita it is right there and has a shot at a league title, but they're playing each other right off the bat. And I picked both of these teams to lose last week, and both of them won.
Yeah.
Glendora and Bonita. And this week, I've gone against Glendora the last 2 weeks. I'm not picking against them again, Aram. And I think in this game they're just a little bit, they might be a little bit too big for Bonita. And one thing that they've been able to do that I've noticed in the games that I saw at Glendora, very good up front, very good shutting down the run. And if Verdugo isn't able to get his yards, if they're not able to move the chains of Glendora, they have no chance. Bonita's not going to throw it around the park in Glendora.
That's what I said last, or this past summer, was that this is a big, plodding, physical team. Yeah. They can play physical football, and then they have a quarterback who can make plays. Not sure about the rest of the offense as far as being able to stretch a field, but Fink certainly can. And, he's the difference in these types of games, Fred. Angel Verdugo, Bonita's running back, has come alive. He's looking like he might be one of the top 2 or 3 backs in the area right now. They're feeding him. That's been, quite simply the recipe for their success. They fed him the ball. The guy's delivered over the last 3 games. They're all 3 wins. And here you have it. I mean, this team has a horse to ride. But the difference is that in a game that is probably going to be, somewhat close, at least going into the 4th quarter, Fink is always the difference in these things. He was last year. He led them to like 3 or 4 last-minute comebacks. This year, you saw him lead him back against Charter Oak. He keeps plays alive. I said it, Freddie. He's the best quarterback in the area. And he might just be the best overall player because when it comes down to crunch time, there's nobody you want under center because the way he can run around.
And that's the difference.
That's it.
And that's the difference, Aram. We may say they don't have the greatest core of receivers to throw to, but that threat that he can, when he's in the pocket, that he can just take off and run and get those easy yards. That's very hard for a defense to account
Right.
for.
Especially in a fourth quarter when you're
Yeah,
tired.
yeah. And I said, I keep going back to their defense, and you look at how they defended against Charter Oak, you look at how they defended against Los Altos, and they beat another good team, Kaiser, a highly ranked team on the road. Their defense has been getting a lot better. I really, the more I think about it, don't think it's going to be that close of a game. I don't. I think they're going to win this game by at least 2 touchdowns.
You could be right. I mean, just remember, Glendora, because they are that big, plodding, physical team, they're not really explosive in the points department. So sometimes the games can stay close. I think Bonita's so hot right now that it will stay close. They can line up and try and run these guys over and pound Verdugo. I'm like you, though. I'm picking Glendora.
I'm just not totally buying. I know they beat San Dimas last week, and that was a great victory. But I tend to look at that more as this is the rivalry. This is a team that goes against that Zernico offense every year and kind of knows how to plan for it, and they get up for them. I'm not sure that they're going to be able to pull this off or anything close against Glendora. I just think they're a different level.
So Freddie's got Glendora somewhat easy. I got Glendora in a close game. This is a heck of a way to start the Palomares League, folks. Get out there. This game is at Charter Oak High School on Friday night. Remember that. This game's at Charter Oak High School on Friday night. Glendora and Bonita. And then Bishop Amat playing at Alemany. That is on Friday night as well. Enjoy the games.